What is up, people? BP here, and today we are going to be answering the question, what does the Bible say about burning bridges? And if you guys remember back in 1984, I don't know if many of you were even alive back then, but there was a movie called Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And yeah, so anyways, in the movie, there was a particular scene, I can't talk today, where Indiana Jones and his friends are on this, gigantic bridge, and it was very flimsy, and yeah, it was very high up. So if they fell off, they would have died. So anyways, they get surrounded by the bad guys, and the bad guys are like, "Ha, we're gonna get you." And well, Indiana Jones gets this bright idea, like, "Oh, let me just destroy this bridge, and we'll survive, and we'll make it." It was a terrible idea, but somehow the producers of the movie was like, "Oh yeah, this will work, and we'll have this really cool fight scene on the bridge, and the hero will win." Well, down below, beneath the bridge, was a bunch of crocodiles, and they ended up eating the bad guy. And yeah, Indiana Jones did survive, but this was the movies, man. Okay, in the real world, if you tried to do something like this, you too would be eaten by the crocodiles. So you're going to take not only the bad guy out, but you're going to be taking yourself out, man. And that's a terrible scenario. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to be crocodile food. So anyways, moving on from that little illustration, guys, we're going to read from Genesis chapter 13. And there's a biblical illustration here where, basically Lot burned a bridge with a friend of his, which is obviously his uncle. Anyways, so it says in verse 7, "And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle, and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right, or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left." Long story short is, basically Lot, who is the nephew of Abraham, he basically chose the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. So he took his friends and family and cattle and all that they had, and they settled in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, which was kind of a bad decision, but at the time, he probably thought it was a good choice. And it ended up being that when, he tried to settle there, his family ended up being a lot like the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah, being corrupted, morally corrupted, and God ended up destroying that place. And so Abraham went and dwelled in another spot. But the point is, with the story here, it was that, Abraham was the peaceful one. He was like, "Look, let's not fight. Let there be no strife. Look, if you go this way, I'll go the other way. But if you go that way, I'll go the other way." Okay? So he was a very peaceful person, and Lot was probably not one to fight either, so he was agreeable as well. Now, had this been a situation where either one of them had burned a bridge between them and was like, "You know what? I don't need you. Bye." Okay, this might have turned out pretty ugly. All right, this might have been a very bad situation. And so I wanted to just kind of explain that if you guys are faced with situations in life like job or family, where if you burn a bridge between the two of you, chances are you could end up on a very bad end of things. And you could very quickly go from a very evil laugh like this. Yeah. Yeah. A very evil laugh like that, where you think you're getting one up on the guy, to a very scary and upset cry for help like this. Gotcha. So yeah, that's a very bad situation to be in. So you could very easily think, "Oh, I'm getting this guy, man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show him, right? I'm gonna show my boss, or I'm gonna show my wife." and you decide to, burn a bridge, right? Well, like I said, that evil laugh of yours could very quickly turn to cries of help and, oh God, why did I make this decision? So you have to be very careful about making those types of calls and like, okay, we're going to end this today. That's why, I advise you that if you are married or something or in a serious relationship, don't throw terms like I want a divorce. Don't throw terms like that around very loosely, or I want to break up, Let's talk about this first. Let's think about this. Let's think about what we're doing here, and let's not just burn a bridge, because let's face it, once you burn a bridge, you could very easily not be able to restore that, because the idea is if you're on one side of the bridge and you burn that bridge, you can't get back over. It's a very dangerous position to be in. I think about guys that I've worked with in the past where instead of putting in like a 2 weeks notice, they just walk out and quit that day, and they say bye, and they think they're giving someone payback, the boss are giving him payback, like, ha, I got you. Ha, bye, peace, I'm out. Well, then, months go by, maybe 3-6 months go by, and guess what? They can't find another job. So what happens is, well, they've just burned a bridge between themselves and that one employer, and they can't get back employed with that employer. So they'll call them up, say, hey, man, how's it going? Is there any way I can like come back and like work for you? I need to make some money. And the boss is like, sorry, man. You said God will pay my bills. Well, what's up? And little do people think about it, but God says work 6 days a week. Go earn your money. You want your bills paid? God's not just going to, throw money at you from heaven. He's going to tell you, just like in the 10 Commandments, work 6 days a week. Take a day off. All right. So you don't want to burn bridges between people. It's just not a smart thing to do. Put in your 2 weeks notice, or, do things the right way where that bridge is still available. Still available. I can't talk. So, anytime you want to end things, or you want to put different conditions on the relationship of someone or something, make sure you do it in a way that if you need to, you can get back to that. Because, like I said, you could find yourself in a very dangerous position where you cannot get back out. You can't get out of that situation. And the last little illustration I wanted to give was the story of the rich man and Lazarus. And if you guys are familiar with that story, well, basically the rich man died, right? And for all intents and purposes, we assume that he died in his sins. He burned a bridge with God, so to speak. He was like, maybe he said to himself that he didn't need God, right? Maybe he thought, well, I'll just make it on my own. This religion stuff ain't for me. Maybe he was agnostic or something. But what ended up happening was, because he burned that bridge, guess what he found himself in? Guess what kind of position he found himself in? He was across the gulf in hell. And when the rich man, cried out to Abraham, he's like, hey, send Lazarus. Abraham's response was, and beside all this, there's a great gulf fixed between us. Let's see if I can find that scripture. It says, and beside all this, between us and you, there's a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. I'm reminded of the scene in like Lord of the Rings, where Gandalf, he takes his staff and he's like, you shall not pass, to that demon. Well, that's kind of what this image is. It's a picture of hell, where on one side you have, the saints and those people who are safe, right? And then on the other side are the people who are lost, and they cannot pass. They can't pass that chasm, that gulf, to get to the place of safety. And so I say all this to say to you, my friend, like, make sure you do not burn bridges with people, and especially with God, because if you do, you could find yourself in a very dangerous predicament. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Thank you for listening and watching. Value of Truth. I am BP. Let me know what you think about this video, and if you liked it, leave a comment and share it with a friend. Thanks.